What's up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Lead From Here podcast. I'm Jason, and today we're talking about embracing uncertainty. This is something that for a long time in my leadership career I didn't quite understand, and I wasn't very comfortable in it. And that's something that I think a lot of new leaders deal with, and that's part of the progression as being a new leader, is understanding that it's very black and white when you're an individual contributor. What do I need to get done today? How do I get it done? And where do I go from here? It's very black and white. You just do it. As you get into leadership, it gets much more in the gray. You're much more in the ambiguity, uncertainty, all of those things that are very important to the business, because ultimately the business is pursuing a lot of different opportunities, strategic outcomes, strategic visions. There's a lot of ambiguity that lives in those spaces because you're still trying to figure out what exactly are we doing. And your biggest goal as a leader is not to let that ambiguity go to your team. Like, you're not always gonna be able to avoid it. There's definitely gonna be some level of ambiguity, especially in newer development, newer projects, newer spaces, or newer markets. You're gonna have a level of ambiguity that you will not be able to avoid. So you cannot totally avoid it, but you should do everything in your power. And this is the best way that I found to actually deal with ambiguity or uncertainty, is to actually take a stand and say, this is what the team has to do right now. If you know exactly what the team is doing and what they need to focus on, that's enough. The ambiguity, be part of the strategy, be part of the conversations, throw your ideas out there, listen, take in whatever you can to understand where we're going, but ultimately do everything you can to give very concrete to-do items for your team and say, this is what we need to get done over the next week, month, year, whatever. And keep as much ambiguity out of them as possible. If you can do that, you are doing a fantastic job as a leader, because the ambiguity that swirls can be a little concerning, a little confusing at times, especially when you're at a lower level leader where you're working with a team, you're leading a team, but you're not in like the executive level discussions. It's hard to understand where things are at. And it's also hard to wait, because you're doing a lot of waiting, because at that level, you're also very new to leadership, so you're not clued into all of the minutia of the executive decisions, the strategic vision for the company, the investments, all those things that are happening. And if you're not clued in, it's hard to feel like you know that you're comfortable in where we're going. And so it's hard to portray that to your team, but it's important that you do, because if you take that ambiguity, you take that uncertainty to them and say, like, I'm uncertain, that immediately makes them uncertain. It makes them feel like maybe their job's at risk, maybe the project's at risk, maybe we don't know what we're doing as leaders. It's all bad. Now, like I said, there's going to be levels of ambiguity in a lot of different situations, and that's okay. As long as you call it out and be like, hey, I know this is a little ambiguous, but this is why. This is a new market. So we're going down this path, but it may not work out. And that's okay if it doesn't. That's not on you. That's on us. We are picking a strategic vision and may or may not work out. So if you have to have ambiguity in the team, communicate why. Otherwise, try not to. Make sure they know exactly what they're working on. If you do that, you will be in a fantastic position to lead the team and also help lead your leaders and your peers and manage up, all those good things. So hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, want me to dive deeper, please let me know. Jason@leadfromhere.co. If you like what you're hearing, like, subscribe, follow, whatever it is, I would really appreciate it. Otherwise, take care.